Reborn, my firefighter husband made his choice again. When our house caught fire, he didn't come for me. He chose to save his first love. He called everyone, rallied his team, all to rush toward her. And she had taken her own life. But still he went running. This time I didn't call him. I stayed quiet. I watched as flames consumed the home we had built together. The one I had decorated with so much care. In my previous life I had called him first. Back then he came rushing in with his team, saving me, even though I was pregnant and terrified. His first love, Lily, had jumped from the 18th floor that same day. Her face. It was beyond recognition. Back then, he told me he didn't regret saving me or our unborn child. We even got married as planned. But on our wedding day everything changed. He broke my legs, dragged me to Lily's tombstone, and forced me to kneel before it. The fire wasn't big that day. Not really. He accused me of sending him away on purpose, of making sure he never saw her one last time. Lily is so kind, he said. Why didn't you die instead? When I opened my eyes this time, I was back at the moment it all began, the day the fire started. He wanted to save her again, so I let him go. I decided not to fight for his attention anymore. Smoke filled the air. I could feel it choking my lungs. Hear the crackle of flames growing closer. I grabbed my phone and dialed 119. The voice on the other end surprised me. It was Andy, Alex's comrade-in-arms and close friend. Sister-in-law, he said. Alex told you'd call. I hadn't expected that. There's a fire at my house, I said quickly. Please send someone. But Andy didn't take me seriously. Stop pretending, he said. Alex told me you're just jealous because he went to save Lily. Don't make a fuss, we're short-staffed today. Lives are at stake over there. Hung up. I didn't care what he thought anymore. Looking around at the house that held 5 years of memories between Alex and me, I touched my belly and sighed. I had been reborn into this moment. This fire happened once before, and now history was repeating itself. In my past life I had called Alex directly. He arrived with his team, unaware of Lily's calls he never answered. We found out later that she had jumped after a breakdown. After surviving the fire, I hugged him tightly, crying in relief. He whispered, I don't regret saving you or the baby. Our wedding went ahead as planned. I wore my beautiful white dress and walked down the aisle to marry the man I had loved for over 5 years. I truly believed I was beginning a new chapter. But instead he shattered me. On our wedding day he broke my leg. Blood stained my dress. Without remorse, he dragged me to the spot where Lily had jumped and made me kneel there, apologizing to her ghost. I didn't understand. What had I done wrong? He chose me. Why did that become my punishment? His eyes were wild, red with grief. The fire wasn't that big, he growled. You sent me away on purpose. You didn't want me to see her one last time. If I hadn't read Lily's diary, he spat, I wouldn't have known how cruel you really are. She suffered depression because of you. She was so kind. Why didn't you die instead? I had no idea what he was talking about. But Alex, he was lost to grief. To madness. You should know what it feels like, he said coldly. To lose someone you love. He locked me in a dark room. I begged him to let me go. Reminded him of our 5 years together. He showed no emotion. Then he poured gasoline inside the room. My last memory was of him standing over me, lighter in hand, hatred burning in his eyes. Not for an enemy, but for the woman he had promised to love. I've wasted 5 years with a vicious woman like you, he muttered. If you like playing with fire so much, then burn. Let's see how it feels. Dying by fire hurts. It burns deep into your bones. And now, here I was again, facing the same fate. I had hoped that if I didn't call Alex this time, I wouldn't repeat the mistakes of my past. But I didn't expect him to dismiss me so easily, to tell his teammates I was just acting. Pain shot through my lower abdomen. The baby kicked, or maybe it was fear. Alex and I had been together for 5 years. We bought this house 2 years ago. It was small, in an older neighborhood, but it was ours. In a city where every inch of land was precious, it meant everything to us. My parents died early, and all I ever wanted was a happy family. When we fell in love, Alex promised me endlessly that he would make me happy. And I believed him. Every piece of furniture, every flower on the balcony, I cared for it all, pouring love into building a warm, safe home. But just like the old wiring that sparked the fire, something had already gone terribly wrong in our relationship. I thought things were going smoothly, but huge dangers had been hiding beneath the surface. I pulled out the photo album we used to laugh over together. It held every memory of our 5 years. He used to joke that we should pass it down to our children. Now the fire swallowed it whole. The flames grew stronger, devouring the bedroom door, the bed, the curtains. My only escape was the window. I climbed out, gripping the hot windowsill, standing on the air conditioner unit. 5 floors up and I was pregnant. If I fell, I didn't know what would happen. Neighbors gathered below. Some had only met me once, yet they shouted encouragement. "Hold on tight. Don't let go. Stay strong. We've called the fire department." But the man who had shared nearly 2,000 days and nights with me, my fiancé, the father of my child, was indifferent. And he finally realized something was wrong when more people called in. One false alarm. Maybe. But when dozens called, panic rising in their voices, he couldn't ignore it anymore. Most of the fire department had been sent to help Lily, on Alex's orders. No one else was available. Downstairs, neighbors waited anxiously. Upstairs I was trembling. My hands were blistered, my body shaking from pain and fear. Slip. Falling, I remembered how we met. Blind date. We hit it off instantly. Neither of us liked spicy food. We both loved movies, documentaries, plants, pets. I thought we were perfect for each other. That we were soulmates. He was gentle with me. Even swore in front of my parents' tomb that he would always protect me. I never imagined he had someone else in his heart. Everyone said he loved me. I believed them. Until Lily came back. It rained heavily the night she called him while he was already asleep. I tried to stop him, but he ignored me, dressed and left. That should have been my warning. But I was soft-hearted. I believed his excuse, that she needed support because of her depression. She could have seen a doctor, taken medicine, left him alone. But it was always late at night. Always just the two of them. Alone. Through Alex, she added me as a friend. They became bolder, insisting nothing was going on. But Lily, who Alex described as pure and kind, would accidentally send me photos. Screenshots of them watching movies together, pictures of Alex cooking for her, sleeping beside her, holding her hand. I argued with Alex over those images. But every time he brushed it off. "Nina, I'm tired. I just don't want her to kill herself. There's nothing between us. Stop making a fuss." Now, looking back at how he reacted after her death, I knew better. He was capable of anything for her. Even killing me. Even sacrificing our unborn child. This time I had a second chance. And he was trying to drag me back into hell. I was lucky when I fell. Kind neighbors rushed forward and broke my fall. I didn't die, but the impact was still devastating. Blood soaked through my clothes. By the time Andy managed to gather a few off-duty firefighters, this was what they found. A burned, bleeding, broken woman surrounded by concerned strangers. He pushed through the crowd, flustered. "Sister-in-law, how could this happen? Alex said you were faking." I looked at him, weak and furious. "Your entire fire brigade listens only to Alex. Whatever he says must be true, right?" The neighbors scolded him. "How irresponsible can you be? You waited an hour to come. She's pregnant." Ashamed, Andy lowered his head. He knew he was wrong. When the ambulance arrived, he followed me to the hospital, apologizing non-stop. "I'm sorry, sister-in-law. I really didn't know. I trusted Alex too much." A nurse interrupted. "Don't disturb the patient. She's in bad shape. Are you a relative?" Andy shook his head. "Then contact her family quickly. Someone needs to sign papers." He called Alex immediately. Alex, there's a real fire. Nina jumped. She's being rushed to the hospital. Come sign the documents. Alex scoffed. How much money did Nina give you to fake this with her? My house is only on the 5th floor. How would she die from falling? Then a soft, familiar voice came through the speaker. Alex, is Nina in trouble? Why don't you go with her? It's okay, the voice continued. I'll handle things here. Don't worry. I won't jump again. Life's just so tiring. It was Lily. Alex's tone softened instantly. She's just pretending. Nothing will happen to her. Be good, Lily. Don't think too much. I'm staying here with you. Felt sick. He believed every word she said. And I was always the liar. Andy couldn't take it anymore. Alex, this is your wife and child. You ran off to save your ex and didn't even care if they lived or died. Are you insane? Alex moved the phone slightly. Andy, who do you think you are talking to me like that? She's not my wife. We don't have a marriage certificate. If you like her so much, go deal with her yourself. Andy clenched his fists. You're unbelievable, Alex. I shouldn't have trusted you. Alex laughed bitterly. She's a coward. How could she really die? He just wanted her to suffer a little, not die. That's what he told himself at least. I lay in the hospital bed, staring blankly at the ceiling, replaying everything that had happened. The fire, the fall, the pain. It all felt like a nightmare. But this wasn't a dream. It was real. And my belly, once full with life, now lay flat and empty. A nurse came in and checked on me. There were murmurs about blood pressure dropping too low, about emergency preparations. But I barely heard them. My body was weak, but my mind was strangely clear. Alex's mother entered the room, looking tired and worried. She held my hand gently, her voice filled with regret. Nina, you're still young. You'll have children again someday. I didn't respond. I just pulled my hand away. Her kindness felt hollow now. She meant well, I knew. But she was still his mother. She sighed. I know you've been wronged. Your relationship with Alex has lasted over 5 years. I've seen everything. The wedding date was set. It wasn't easy. I don't have a daughter, so I've always treated you like one. I stayed silent, eyes fixed on the ceiling. After a long pause, I finally spoke. Auntie, if you truly treated me like a daughter, and your daughter went through something like this, would you ever forgive the man who did this to her? She hesitated. I already knew the answer. If my parents were still alive, I continued, they wouldn't have forgiven Alex either. Her expression fell. She didn't know how to respond. To be fair, if she truly had a daughter, she wouldn't keep trying to convince her to stay with someone like her own son. Someone who abandoned his pregnant girlfriend to rush to his ex's side. Someone who hadn't even shown up until now. Thinking about it, Auntie became angry again. She took out her phone and called Alex. Where have you been? She demanded. Didn't I tell you Nina was in trouble? Why aren't you at the hospital yet? There was a pause as she listened to his response. She had a miscarriage, she said sharply. You still have time to be elsewhere. Come here right now. But Alex just laughed it off. Miscarriage? How could she have a miscarriage? Mom, stop joking. I'll come later. He hung up without another word. An hour passed before I finally saw him again. But he wasn't alone. Course not. Lily followed behind him like a shadow, wearing a pink floral dress, delicate and fragile looking as ever. The moment she saw me, she flinched and hid behind him. Alex, she whispered. Nina's eyes are scary. Alex turned to glare at me, protective and defensive. Nina, how many times have I told you, Lily is sick? Can you stop targeting her all the time? Andy, standing nearby, shook his head in frustration. He slapped Alex lightly on the head. What did Nina do to you? He snapped. She's lying in bed, weak and heartbroken, and you're blaming her without knowing the truth. Do you even know she just lost the baby? Alex didn't say anything. He looked at me in shock. Lily, however, started crying immediately. Oh no, she sniffled. If I hadn't gotten sick. If I hadn't hurt Nina like this. Tears streamed down her face. I almost admired her ability to cry on cue. If actresses got paid by the tear, she'd be a millionaire. Alex, predictably, shifted his attention to comforting her. It's not your fault, he said softly. This was her own carelessness. If she hadn't made you depressed, none of this would have happened. I almost laughed, a bitter, broken sound. In my previous life, he'd claimed he found evidence in Lily's diary that I caused her depression. But before I met him, I didn't even know she existed. How could I have possibly made her depressed? Alex frowned when he saw my expression. You suffered a bit this time, he said, almost condescendingly. But is it really necessary to go this far? You owed Lily something, yes. But after this you can get pregnant again. So why make such a big deal out of it? Why call me here? I moved my wrist slightly, motioning for him to come closer. Alex, I said quietly. Come closer. I want to talk to you. He looked confused but leaned in slowly. As his face neared mine, I gathered every ounce of strength I had left and slapped him, hard. The sound echoed in the quiet room. He staggered back, stunned, his cheek red and burning. He looked at me like he couldn't believe what I'd done. I stared at him coldly. The love I once had for him was gone. All that remained was emptiness. Alex, I said calmly, let's break up. He tried to speak to fix things, but the words caught in his throat. Then after a moment he smirked. Is this some new trick you came up with? He asked. You think I'll never let you go? My eyes narrowed. No, I said. You're confident because in the past I always gave in. Every time we argued about Lily I compromised because I loved you. Because I wanted our family to work. But now the baby is gone. There is no family. And I don't love you anymore. So why should I give in again? Pause. We never got married. We bought the house together. Each of us paid half. I want my share back. And the wedding planner, I'll send you their contact info. Handle the refunds yourself. I saw the flicker of joy in Lily's eyes, just for a second, before she quickly masked it. Alex stiffened. So that's it, he said, his voice rising. You're going to throw away 5 years because of this? Did you know how much I helped Lily on the first day? Just because I didn't want to see someone lose their life like that. And this is how you act. He took a deep breath. Okay, fine. Your child is gone. Consider it an apology to Lily. I promise I'll keep my distance from her from now on. It was supposed to be a compromise. Peace offering. But I only smiled. Alex, I said, you may have made a mistake. I don't recycle garbage. He blinked surprised. And by the way, I added, what exactly did I do to owe Lily so much? His jaw tightened. When we got together, he said, didn't you look into Lily's past? Didn't you send emails overseas? Didn't you get her classmates to bully her? If it weren't for you, she wouldn't have developed depression. He sounded sure of himself. Righteous even. But Lily looked away, clearly uncomfortable. I couldn't help but laugh. Who told you that? Yes. That I sent an email. That I told her classmates to pick on her. He crossed his arms. I have the records. An email was sent abroad. I shook my head. Do you really think I'm capable of that? Yes. Or do you just underestimate me that much? Alex hesitated. Then Auntie finally spoke up. I asked Nina to help me send an email, she said quietly. It was for my sister who works at that school. Don't you remember? Alex paled. But you said she doesn't check her phone during work hours, he stammered. Only her computer. That's true, Auntie said. Which means the email was sent by me, not Nina. Silence filled the room. Alex turned slowly toward Lily. You told me at the beginning, he said, voice low, that Nina couldn't be blamed, that it was your fault, that you didn't handle things well enough. But then you let me blame her anyway. Lily didn't look at him. He grabbed her shoulder tightly. Go ahead, he said. Explain. She winced from the pressure. Yes, she whispered. I misunderstood. But I never said the person who sent the email was Nina. Auntie, fed up, picked up her phone again and called her sister overseas. When the call connected, she put it on speaker. I know that student, came the voice from the other end. Lily was known for having multiple boyfriends, 5 or 6 at once. Some of them were already in relationships. She was quite the scandal. There was a pause. And later, the voice continued, she was caught cheating on exams multiple times. She was expelled. Auntie ended the call. Lily collapsed onto the floor. No, she sobbed. Alex, listen to me. She reached for his hand, but he pulled away. He looked at me, pale, shaking, devastated. Lily, he said bitterly, it turns out you were bullied because you were a mistress. And you dared to blame Nina. I believed your lies. And I hurt my own woman and child. Disgust filled his eyes. Lily, sensing the shift, panicked. She rushed to the window, climbed onto the ledge, and sat there with one leg hanging outside. Alex, she cried. You said you'd protect me. Do you regret it now? Her eyes were filled with tears, and she still looked pitiful. But this time, Alex didn't feel the same pity he used to. He looked at me, his gaze full of guilt. Nina, I'm sorry. I was wrong, he said. I was blinded by her lies and did so many things to hurt you. But I really still love you. Can you give me another chance? Before I could scold him, Lily, who had been ignored for the first time, screamed. Alex, you said you loved her. Then why did you sleep with me when you came to my house to accompany me the night before last? Are you a bitch? Alex's pupils trembled. He hadn't expected her to suddenly expose his past. He tried frantically to explain himself to me, but when he saw how calm I was, how unsurprised, he faltered. I raised an eyebrow and said sarcastically, Do you think I don't know? Your innocent and kind Lily has always been sending me photos. I told you a long time ago. Alex's eyes widened. In the past, he had an ambiguous relationship with Lily under the guise of caring for her. When the truth was revealed, he could have claimed he was deceived, but not anymore. With my mocking gaze and the disappointment in his aunt's eyes, Alex knew his mask had completely fallen off. He stood there, shamed and exposed. Angry and embarrassed, Alex turned on Lily. Even if I slept with you, isn't it because you seduced me? You called me over every night, wore lace lingerie, and threw yourself into my arms. I'm a man with blood in my veins. Can you blame me for what happened? If you had any self-control, wouldn't you come every time someone calls? Don't you know what people like you are thinking when you keep inviting me? Lily wasn't one to back down either. The two of them argued more and more fiercely, tearing at each other's secrets and reputations like enemies trying to rip each other's fig leaves off and trample them. Earlier, Lily had been standing near the window, trying to threaten another suicide attempt to force Alex to take her side. But now, caught up in the fight, she slipped without realizing. Her hands barely managed to grab onto the windowsill as she screamed for help. Help! I don't want to die. Help! Everyone in the room froze. Alex, what are you doing? Help! I shouted, and Alex snapped out of his shock, reaching out toward Lily. But whether it was karma or fate, just a second before he could grab her, Lily lost her grip. She fell screaming in fear. Ring. The sound of a heavy object hitting the ground echoed. The girl who had constantly threatened to jump finally died from falling off the building. I took a deep breath, feeling neither joy nor regret. Because of Lily's death, several of us witnesses were questioned. After learning that she had planned to jump herself, the police checked her medical records, only to find out she had no illness at all. Her depression had been fake. Alex collapsed even further. He showed the police videos of Lily crying and telling him she wanted to jump if he left her. If she wasn't depressed, does that mean all of this was fake? He asked desperately. The officer nodded. From my account and my aunt's, they likely pieced together the entire situation. If Alex's actions hadn't been so despicable, They might have felt some sympathy for him being tricked. But now all he could say was that he deserved it. Without surveillance footage in the ward, Alex couldn't prove his innocence. And with Lily's parents hounding him and even demanding 5 million yuan in compensation, the families ended up in a bitter feud. By the time Alex sorted through the chaos, I had already quietly left the hospital. When he called, I was already on a high-speed train heading elsewhere. "Nina, where have you been?" he asked when I picked up. I looked out the window and replied calmly, "Does it have anything to do with you?" "Alex, we've broken up." He panicked. "No, don't break up. Nina, give me another chance. We've been together for 5 years. We were going to get married soon. Nina, please don't leave me." Scoff. "Stop acting. If you really cared so much, why didn't you think about me? About the fact that I was pregnant while you were tangled up with Lily? 5 years together planning a wedding. And yet, do you think what you did only caused me to miscarry? What if I had died that day? No one would be here right now. Why would I ever forgive you? Alex, I said I won't take garbage. Besides..." I paused. "I already lost my life in your hands in my last life." This was the first time I mentioned my previous life to him. He was silent on the other end for a long time, so long that I almost hung up. Then finally he said softly, "Nina, I didn't expect that you were also reborn." "There's a lot you didn't expect," I sneered, hanging up just before hearing him whisper, "I'm sorry." Those 3 words were the most useless apology he could offer. He had killed my baby in my past life. How could he expect forgiveness with such a light phrase? Dream on. After finding out I was also reborn, Alex stopped contacting me. Not that he had the energy anyway. Andy and his colleagues in the fire department found out about Alex's betrayal and couldn't stand it anymore. They reported him to their superiors for abusing his position and wasting police resources to save a fake depressed first love. Witnesses from the hospital quarrel posted detailed accounts online. People love gossip, and soon Alex became infamous across social media. Everyone scolding him. Under public pressure, the leader who once admired Alex and only intended to suspend him ended up firing him and giving him a serious disciplinary record. He could no longer wear that uniform proudly or act recklessly. As for me, I moved on. After getting half the money from selling our shared apartment, I returned home and opened a small dessert shop. It wasn't fancy, but the cozy decor and lush greenery made it a popular spot for check-ins. Not rich but comfortable enough. A few years later, I bought a small 60-square-meter house in town. I live alone with a cat and a dog. More than enough. The next time I heard about Alex was from my aunt, calling in tears, begging me to see him one last time. It turned out that after losing his job and breaking up with me, Alex spiraled into confusion. He developed severe depression, locked himself indoors, and drank heavily. A week earlier, his parents forced him to go for a physical exam and discovered he had late-stage liver cancer at just 30 years old. Maybe he thought life was too painful, or maybe for other reasons, but he sent his parents away and set himself on fire in our old house. Though rescued, he was already beyond saving. "Mom, is that her?" I heard his weak voice on the phone. Then the phone was handed to Alex. He was panting, struggling for breath. "Nina, I understand now. How painful it must have been," he whispered. "I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Don't come over," he added. "I don't want you to see me like this." He mumbled on the phone for a while until he passed away. When my aunt picked up the phone again, she found I had already hung up long ago. So unlucky to be involved in all this. I slowly watered the flowers I had just bought. Fresh, blooming, full of hope. This was my life.